coming back after this season again.
How many times have we done
Oh, I can do that for hours.
this?
But
it.
you mentioned already before a little bit the music video that you created, and I wrote down the name of the director because
Mm-hmm.
Katarzyna Romatowska.
That's correct. Yeah, I call her Kasha.
Okay, Kasha, that's so much easier. Let's
Yes.
stick to that. So she's an award-winning director. So how did this whole collaboration happen between her and you? And
So like
yeah.
I said, it happened through Mara, my manager. They're good friends, so she showed her my EP when it was released back in October, and Kasha heard it and told herself she really liked what I was doing, and so she reached out to me, said, "Hey, I'd really like to create a music video for one of the songs that you make. Would you be down to make them? Would you be down to collaborate?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, at the moment, I was actually still in Prague, and we were shooting the music videos for the EP, so I was kind of like, you can." So I was rummaging through the songs that I had in mind to release afterwards, and I told myself, okay, maybe the high song, "Only Miss You When I'm High." Have a listen, see if you like it. If you'd be keen, we can talk about it. And she really liked it, so and she started to send a bunch of ideas to me, and I was just thinking, okay, it all sounds great. Well, listen, I'm in Prague right now, and she's like, okay, well, it's fine. We're gonna shoot. We can shoot this in Poland with some friends,
Yeah.
and we kept each other in the loop, and worked on the storyline together. She didn't reveal too much to me, and I didn't want to know too much about it either. I kind of wanted to be surprised, and I'm
Uh-huh.
glad that I did because like I said, I had to watch this music video several times to be able to
Yeah.
really wrap my head around it and see all the little details and subtleties in what she added. She's a very cheeky character. Really, really great sense of humor as well.
Nice.
So it was really fantastic to collaborate with her. She's also very good with her deadlines. Might I
Very
mention?
good. I love
Very good.
those kind of people.
That's also a very important factor. um, what? Um, yeah. I guess that's pretty much the
Mhm.
story behind
Yeah.
the scenes of Only Miss You When I'm High. Um, yeah.
Nice. Was interesting that you said okay to not reveal too much to her and things. For me, it connects to what we spoke about earlier about translating into different mediums. Like, okay, you wrote the song in as music, um, and now there is someone who is a video maker taking that topic, taking that theme, and having to translate that into another art form,
Mm-hmm.
which is video in that case. And to give each other the space as well, because okay, you're a musician, you're not a video maker, so having and then letting go of it and trusting the video maker as well to do with it how she interprets the music and how she then wants to translate it as well. But that is something I can imagine as well being very difficult to give it out of your hand to someone else,
Yeah, I mean,
depending on how much of an image you have in your mind already as well, I guess.
yeah, that's also the thing. I mean, okay, well, there's a lot of thoughts here. I mean, artists can be really protective of their work, right? If they have a
Yeah.
very specific vision, then they're likely to hold on to it until the end and tell people exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the pleasure of creating art is actually the fact that, okay, if I do have a vision, then I'll tell it. I'll tell it to them. But
Yeah.
it's also about being taken by surprise. Like you said before, we don't always know what the result is going to be, what the end
Yeah.
result should be, you know? And as a result of that, I told myself, "Oh, okay, I want to see what you can make out of this. I mean, you're a fantastic and creative director. Give me the best you got because that's all you do anyway."
Yeah.
And and that's one side of it. And on the other side, well, if we disagreed with each other, which is why I found her just perfect to work with, is just because she's so direct, which made me
Mm.
feel like, okay, if something worked, I could just say yay or nay.
Yeah.
And it would just be okay, let's move around it and work together on this and see where we can find some middle ground.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, so long it also felt okay because I was in full control of the music.
Yes,
If I
for
hadn't
sure.
been in control of the music, then it would have been a bit difficult for me. But
I can
because
imagine.
that was my job, and her job was really the visuals,
Mm,
really was it was really neat to see just how those two universes kind of laced
come
together.
together.
Hmm.
Yeah, nice. Now the video is public, the music is public, but that doesn't mean that you stop working. Of course, you said in our email contact before this, you said you're working on your new EP right now, Restless.
That is
What
correct.
can we look forward to? What can we expect from this upcoming EP? I'm curious.
So it's I wanted to create an EP that could make my roommate go to sleep. And
Okay.
every time
That's,
ev-
I mean, you said earlier you don't know your direction so much, but to me that sounds super precise and pinpointed.
well, okay, that was I started making this EP before I had this reason. So,
Okay.
no,
Still the fluidity there. Okay, I see.
exactly. Yeah, it's a bit of this and that. No, so the main theme behind the EP is actually a lot of harmonies and something very instrumental and calming.
Mhm.
But I really wanted to create something that just made you feel like a giant made it feel like a giant hug, you
Mm,
know. It's going to be a very simplistic way of experimenting with harmonies for myself and to just put something to create something that you can just put on and listen to back and make it feel like one overarching song.
yeah,
That's it.
nice. Now you talked about deadlines. Is there already a date or something where we can expect to be able to listen to it or not?
Well, I'm still working on it now, and
Mhm.
I'm going to call my dear friend Mara after this. No, I'm just kidding. So it's coming up before summer.
Okay,
I'm not gonna drop a date yet though. Keep you on your
that's fine.
toes.
That's fine. Uh, Now, as we are on this topic, where can people find all the stuff that you make actually?
Mhm. Uh,
Like, there's one video now on our channel, of course, but we want them to find you, of course, and listen to your music. So
all streaming platforms, Spotify. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Bandcamp. What
all your places.
everywhere, every nook and cranny of the internet.
Nice. And we will also put links to all those nooks and crannies into the video description, of course.
Much. Thank
And hope that people look at those things and check you out because it's very interesting. Um, Now, I still have a few questions here on my notebook that I would
you.
like to ask you. And one thing is, um, are there any idols that you have, or in general, what are things that influence your work? Now, I can imagine like your family as being all very much in the music business is a big influence. But in general, what influenced you to do the kind of style that you are doing, or in any way, in any different way, influence you? Not just looking at musicians, but as well as to other things that might be inspiring.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a bit of a tough one. Well, I because when I look at the influences or the
Mhm.
artists that I really admire, I don't really tend to see much of a link. I really love, um, in terms of female artists, Sammy Ray, Kimbra, Janelle Monáe, um,
Mhm.
Malika Tyrolian, um, just really, and that kind of ranges into like pop world music and uh, funky kind of sounds. Um, I think that they're an influence on me in terms of just the way they have,
Yeah.
or an inspiration for me in terms of how much of an artistic vision they have and
Mhm.
how how colorful their messages and their visions can be.
Nice.
But in terms of influence, I think it's actually spirituality might be the closest influence that I have in that um, when I went to church as a child, we always had a live choir, and what really stuck to my heart were the harmonies. And I think that that's when
Mm,
every time I sing harmonies, and every time I also have a harmonizer myself
yeah,
to play around with. That's really what feels like home to me because it brings me back to that place.
that's interesting. I will go back to listen to some of your music with that thought in mind as well, to see how it changes things. That's interesting. As you said during this whole conversation, you were mentioning those harmonies especially a lot, and yes, for sure, there's in choirs that's
Yeah, I guess it's the sound of why it feels so much like home. It's
uh,
because it's the sound of unity. It's the sound of
yeah,
unity of people, and that's also what I want to transcend through my music. Is that I want, well, I guess just like what musicians and artists want to transcend is
mm,
just the fact that we are together, we are one,
yeah,
and you are part of this as well. I can't be an artist on my own.
yeah.
Without you, I am nothing. And yeah, that's what really remains closest to my heart, I think.
To me, with those words, though, you very much pinpointed your vision right now as an artist.
Ooh, USP check.
No, but okay, you're just looking from the outside. For me, the feeling I get is really okay. There is this unity thing that is very much present in your music through harmonies and things, and as well in what you say about it is for you. And when you talk, you're mainly talking about live concerts and where you are with each other, and you seem to be very much aware of your audience as well and caring about your audience, which again brings unity. So for me, so far, that is one very clear thing that has been reflected throughout pretty much everything you said so far. And for me, it's like, there we go.
Well, thank you for working on this with
No problem. Like, I open a therapy service now, and
You're back.
no, but it's something that for me actually, it's like those interviews. It's really interesting to get to know other artists and things, but I always get to know so much about myself by being confronted with other artists and the way that they think, the way that they look at art and their art and things in general. And it's really a moment for myself as well to reflect upon, okay, how do I do things
Have you
when I
learned
hear
anything
other
new
people talk
in
about it. So
have,
that's really really interesting almost.
have you learned anything new from this interview?
I'm still busy processing a lot of things in my head, and I will tell you if there's a specific thing that I learned during all of this. I will let you know.
Sounds good.
But it's very interesting always, and I have great pleasure in this exchange
And
in general.
yeah, thank you so much for this. Yeah, for this interview. I know we're not done yet, but I want to thank you
But
anyway.
we're getting slowly towards an end. Like I
Uh-huh.
always try to make it around 1 hour, and then look at the time. We're
Okay.
around that area of time.
Oh yeah, we are. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, really
Time
got
runs.
sucked into it. It didn't feel like it. Wow.
Now, as to finish off, there is two more questions that I have here that I would like to know. And one thing is, now throughout your career, I mean, it falls a little bit back towards what I asked you before, but from your own perspective, are there some key moments that you had as a musician or in general in your life that that you could recount in a way, like that shaped you and the way how you are inside of your career as a musician? Just a highlight or highlights, if you will, in a way. It
Highlights.
really
Well, I
stuck
mean,
with you.
actually, when I think about it, um, the biggest highlights are the times when things went wrong.
That's
Because,
interesting.
I mean, the first time I performed with my band back in the day, um, everything that could have went wrong on stage the first time we performed. and it was a competition on top of that. We were in the finals, and we were completely the bass the the bass player wasn't connected to his amp, and we had messed up the entrance to another song and the introduction of the band, and oh my gosh, everything went wrong. But the way we handled it afterwards, and just the fact that we laughed it off, and we told ourselves, okay, I mean, that was an experience, and we're
Yes.
gonna go again. We're gonna try again next time, and we're gonna have a great time. We had a great time. That's all that matters. The fact that that happened made me know for sure that I was with the right people.
Yeah.
That was one really memorable experience. Um, Another one is, well, again, I messed like it's just like the mess up moment. Well, they're mess up moments, right? But they're actually just it just shows the authentic part of the experience, no? Like
Yes.
it's like life. It's full of mistakes, and it's not
Exactly.
always perfect. It's what makes things beautiful, the little things that stick out. Once I was looping a really what a really easygoing, smooth gospel song, and well, have you know it, there was a puppy in the audience that just started barking, and it got caught in the
And it's in the
microphone,
loop.
and it was stuck in a loop, and people were. I mean, it was just laughter, but it was great. I mean, it made
But
it.
it's a moment where you can really connect with your audience, and as they have been there as well, they know where that dog is coming from. It's a thing of, yes, this is life.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, yeah, it sneaks up on you, but it's great. I love it. I love it when you can build that relationship with the audience, and there's laughter in it.
Yeah. Nice. I think it's really great that you said this of failure and how you treat failure. Like when I was talking earlier about, okay, when I go onto stage, what happens in my head then? The most beautiful moment for me that I ever had on stage was very much a failure moment as well. And I just fucked up. I was on stage in front of a couple of hundreds of people. In that moment, there was me and one other person on stage in that moment, but that other person was standing with the back to me as well and not seeing what I did, and I couldn't see what she was doing. But she knew, okay, it continues when I walk past her and step into her field of view. So she was standing there waiting for me to get my stuff done, essentially. And I was standing there and I had a wooden plank leaning against my back. And I had a block of wood standing like 2 meters in front of me. And I had a dart with a string. And what I had to do was I had to throw the dart into the wooden block and, like a fishing line, pull it to me to pick up the wooden block, roll over the wooden plank, and then balance the wooden plank on top of this block and move backstage again and leave the stage. Now I threw the dart once and I don't hit the block. It's okay, I pull it back on the string and I go again and I miss again, and slowly I'm starting to sweat. And but so far not the mess up. I was still in control. I still had the string, I still had the dart. I would just try again. Ça va. But then I throw the dart and it lands behind the wooden block, and I didn't hold properly to the string. So now the string was gone as well. And I was stuck there. And I couldn't really move because this plank was leaning against me, and if I would take a step, it would slide and fall. So I was standing there now, on stage, hundreds of people looking at me, not knowing what to do. And it was really this moment of, shit. And just this moment, it's still super, super present in my head of essentially standing there naked and having to do something about it and taking a decision really in that moment that only exists right now. And the way I solved it was okay. I should have done it slightly different looking afterwards at it, but that doesn't matter. But this one moment was really okay, and that moment really changed the way that I approach being on stage, because this moment is what I want to relive every single time, essentially. That is my goal of having this nakedness, so to say, on stage and having to make a decision right now. And everything I've done since is trying to reproduce that in an organic way without forcing something. Because if you force it, well, it's impossible to recreate it. But how do I create the circumstances for this to happen again? And so I very much see myself there in what you say about fucking up.
Wow.
It's one of the greatest moments that you can have if you let them be. If you don't punish yourself for fucking up, but well, it happened. You can't do anything about it anymore anyway, so fuck it. Life goes on. It doesn't matter. You learn something.
That's an extremely powerful moment, the sense when you're completely vulnerable in front of your audience.
Nice. And I think on this message, we're slowly coming towards an end then as well. As a very last question, is there anything that you would like to give on the way to other artists, be it musicians or other art forms? I don't care. But anything that you would like to give them onto their way? Anything for them to take to their heart and take into consideration?
I think that we touched upon it quite a bit. In terms of when you're creating art, you tend to get very sometimes you get very frustrated, either because things are not moving forward very fast, or you want to get to this point and you're very anxious. My one thing that I would want to give to people who are in that position is just patience with themselves. I would tell them to really just take the time that you need in order to create your art. Be it 3 months, 3 days, 3 years. Just allow yourself to have that space to really let the thing simmer.
Nice. On that final note, I want to say thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Hey, thank you so much. This has been so fantastic and so revitalizing. It's been so awesome to talk to you. Really.
Great. Perfect. Nice. Everybody go listen to her music and check her out in all the nooks and crannies. Or every link's in the description. And then time to stop this recording. This was the last and final part of my conversation with Natyva. I hope you enjoyed this interview series as much as I did. Make sure to check out the video description to listen to more of her work and to show her your support. If you enjoyed this video, then please click like and subscribe to our channel and share your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you goes out again to our fellow supporters on Patreon. If you also want to support the work that we do here at Capta laVie, then head over to patreon.com/Capta laVie and secure yourself some extra benefits, like watching the recording sessions for those interviews live and being able to ask your own questions. We'll be back with a new artist and interview next Sunday, so I see you soon.